guys, welcome back to my channel, House of Grace, also known as Erica's Random Thoughts while she gets ready in the bathroom. Today I wanted to talk to you guys about a story that I keep hearing preached over and over and over again. And I feel like if I keep hearing this story from multiple different pastors, then God is clearly trying to tell me something. So the story that I keep hearing preached about is when in John chapter 5, when Jesus heals the paralyzed man. I'm just going to go ahead and read you the story straight from the Bible, just in case you've never heard it before, so you know exactly what I'm talking about. So in John chapter 5, it says, "Afterward, Jesus returned to Jerusalem for one of the Jewish holy days. Inside the city, near the sheep gate, was the pool of Bethesda, with 5 covered porches. Crowds of sick people, blind, lame, or paralyzed, laid on the porches. One of the men lying there had been sick for 38 years. When Jesus saw him and knew he had been ill for a long time, he asked him, 'Would you like to get well?' 'I can't, sir,' the sick man said, 'for I have no one to put me into the pool when the water bubbles up. Someone else always gets there ahead of me.' Jesus told him, 'Stand up, pick up your mat, and walk.' Instantly, the man was healed. He rolled up his sleeping mat and began walking." So, again, John chapter 5. So if you want to go back and read that, that was the New Living Translation. But if you want to go back and read that, John chapter 5. And I've been hearing many different versions of this preaching lately. So I'm just trying to think like, okay, God is clearly trying to show me something. So one of the things that I'm thinking is we sometimes say that we can't, but is it we can't or we won't? Like we want to be healed. We want all of these things in our lives, but we're constantly coming up with excuses for reasons why we can't do them. And sometimes it's even something that Jesus is calling you to do. Maybe Jesus is calling you to start a Bible study or to, in my case, like homeschool my kids, which I didn't think I could do. Or maybe he's telling you to move across the country or to sell your house or to start a new business. And you keep thinking to yourself, well, I can't do that. That doesn't make any sense to the world. How could I, someone who missed most of her 6th and 7th grade years, homeschool my kids? Like I don't even know proper grammar for the most part. How could someone who, for instance, my husband, he has an art history degree. How could he start a successful insurance business? Or is God telling you to go to college? And you're like, well, I'm the first person in my family to ever go to college. I can't do that. Or is God telling you to give up something? Is he telling you to give up friendships? Is he telling you to give up things of this world that people are going to have an opinion about? And you're too scared of what the opinions of others than doing what God is calling you to do. So for instance, this YouTube channel, I have been wanting to do YouTube for so long. Growing up, my biggest goal, my biggest dream, I always wanted to be a director. I wanted to direct movies. I wanted to produce movies. I never really wanted to be the actress. I always wanted to be behind the camera. I always wanted to be the one directing, producing, possibly writing. Like I just loved that industry so much. And throughout my entire childhood, many people have told me, well, don't you think it would have happened already if you were going to do it? Or only certain people make it in that industry. Things like that. And when I went to college, I have a degree in communications with a concentration in film production, and I worked at a news station. And I absolutely loved it. It was just such a thrill going to work every single day because I was doing something that I loved dearly. And at that time, I was assistant directing. And then my boss, when I was interning, he said, well, I have an opportunity for you to come on as a freelancer and like get paid to do this. And I was just like, oh my gosh, this is my dream. I'm gonna get paid for doing what I've always dreamt of doing. So I started doing independent study in college, and I was working as an AD and training to be a director. And it was just my absolute dream come true. Unfortunately, I was also in a very toxic relationship at the time, and I wound up choosing my relationship over my career path. So long story short, I never continued in that career path. And then, not that I'm that salty about it because it led me down the path to the life that I have now. And I'm very grateful for my husband and my family. And I think that everything happens for a reason. But I often wonder if I would have stayed in that career, like where I could have been. So with YouTube, it just seemed like this opportunity to do something that I love doing. I love filming. I love editing. But there's always those voices in the back of my head where like, you have 8 subscribers, Erica. Like, nobody really cares what you have to say. You can't seem to grow a YouTube channel. You just, you put videos out there and it's just like you're constantly putting these videos out there, and does anybody really care? Does anybody really see them? Do you really have a voice that has something different to say than the millions of people that are already on YouTube? But I just really feel like deep in my soul that God put this desire in my heart. Like, God really put this desire in my heart to love filming, to love editing. So I don't know where that's gonna go, where that's gonna lead me. Like right now I have 12 subscribers, but maybe in a year there'll be 1 million subscribers. You don't know, because with God's anointing and God's hand on it, you can really go from nothing to everything whenever God wants to raise you up. So back to John 5, I think sometimes he was asking the man, he said to him, do you want to get well? And the man said, I can't. He didn't say yes. Like, if Jesus came up to me and said, do you want to get well? 100% I'd be like, yes, because I know that Jesus would heal me. But this man said, I can't. He's already coming up with an excuse of why Jesus can't heal him. Jesus is asking him right then and there, do you want to be healed? And he's saying, I can't. So how many things is Jesus leading you to do that you're saying, I can't? Jesus is telling you, go to college. I can't, because I can't afford it, because nobody else in my family has gone to college. Jesus is telling you to start the business. I can't, because I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know how to run a food truck. I don't know how to manage people. Jesus is telling you to homeschool your kids, like he told me. And I'm just like, I'm afraid, I can't, I don't know. God will give you the grace to do what he is calling you to do. It doesn't matter your skill set. If Jesus is calling you to do it, the only answer to that is yes. Not I can't, but yes. So instead of saying I can't, just say yes. And then if it's something that God is calling you to do, he is 100% going to give you the grace to do it. So let me know in the comments down below if that makes sense, and if there is something that God is calling you to do and you're just like, I don't know if I can, I'm scared, I don't know what people are gonna think of me. That's definitely in my head all the time, is like what people will think of me. What are my friends gonna think when I post these YouTube videos? Are they gonna just be like, oh my gosh, Erica, why would you post that? Or she sounds dumb, or I don't like the sound of her voice, or she should have put more makeup on before she did that, or any of those things. But I really feel like God is calling me to do this at this time, and I feel like it is time for me to stand up and do what God is calling me to do. So I feel like if you're right now hearing from God that you're supposed to be doing something, but you're too afraid, then my advice to you would be just stand up and take the next step, because the first step is going to be the hardest. And then once you take that first step, the next step is going to seem a little bit easier, and the step after that a little bit easier. And if it is truly something that God is calling you to do, then I 100% believe that he's going to give you the grace to do it. He's going to give you the finances to do it. He's going to give you the knowledge to do it. He's going to give you everything that you need to do. And if you're saying, well, how do I know it's God and not myself? Because I've been through that before too. But one thing that I've learned, or that I feel happens to me, is it's like a nagging thing that just like won't go away. It's like, start the YouTube channel, start the YouTube channel, start the YouTube channel, Maybe for you it's go to college, start the business, homeschool your kids, drop that friendship, stop spending money on Amazon, whatever it is. It's just like a reoccurring thought that's just looping in my mind over and over again, and gets to the point where like you can't say no anymore. So I think that is one way that you might be able to tell. And then also, don't be afraid to just try, because if you try it and it doesn't work and you fail miserably, that's the worst that happened, was that you failed miserably. And if it wasn't God's will, then God's going to pick you back up, and he's going to put you back on the right path, and he's going to lead you where you need to go. But the worst thing that you can do is get to the end of your life and think, man, I really wish I would have tried that. I wish I would have given that a go. I wish I would have used my talents, used my gifts that God has given me, because you're not going to care at the end of your life what your friends thought of you or what random people on the internet thought of you. You're only going to wish that you tried everything that was in your heart to try. So yeah, so I hope that makes sense. And if you guys want to leave comments down below of something that you think that God is telling you to do, but you're too afraid to do it, I would absolutely love to pray for you. And I would just encourage you to just step out in faith and try it. And again, the worst that happens is that you failed. And then God will pick you back up and he will put you back on the right path. So I love you guys. I hope that you guys are encouraged by that today. I hope that that maybe gives you some confidence to go out and try something that you feel like God is leading you to do, but you've been afraid to do it. But yeah, just leave it down in the comments below if there's something that you want me to pray for you about, and also leave down maybe in the comments something that you've been wanting to try. Maybe even just writing it in a comment will seem real enough and solidify it enough for you to actually give it a try. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye!